Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Another day, another surprise update here in Warzone. We just got a tweet from Raven a few minutes ago saying that tomorrow there's going to be a very big weapon tuning and attachment tuning update that goes live in Warzone that changes up quite a few different meta weapons. Unfortunately, it changes up quite a bit of the content I had planned for the rest of this week, but we do have a huge update coming tomorrow. Raven actually previewed some of the patch notes for the weapon tuning and for the attachment tuning. They included some early notes at that, so we're gonna be going over all that in this video. If you enjoy it at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. Let's go for 3,000 likes on this one. And of course, if you're new to the channel or if you have not already subscribed, feel free to do so. We are always covering everything going on in COD here. News, intel, updates, loadouts, you name it. So as we can see, Raven says, heads up, tomorrow morning's Warzone update will include various weapon and attachment adjustments. Here's an early look at the patch notes. So that said, we can actually go in now and see what all is going on with this update tomorrow and sort of preview what all is going to be changing, because there's some pretty drastic changes that they end up listing here. Obviously, this is just the rifles we're looking at, and there's a lot more than just this. So for the AK-47 from Cold War, the gun kick is going to be adjusted. We are reassessing and polishing the gun kick of the AK-47 to behave more closely to other 7.62 caliber weaponry. Not sure if that means it's going to have a lower recoil or higher recoil. Personally, the AK is on the higher end, in my opinion, in terms of what has recoil in Warzone and what doesn't. Lower end is going to be things like the Krig, the FARA, the Grouse, so on and so forth. So we could actually see recoil smoothed out to the AK, or we could potentially even see it raised a little bit, depending on which route they want to go with that. If they don't want it to be as good up close, or potentially, easier to use at a range, we're going to have to see what they adjust with that. For the FARA, this is a big one because personally, I would say the FARA is the #1 rifle in Warzone right now. Here they end up saying they're going to reduce the maximum damage from 29 to 25. The minimum damage is going to be decreased from 25 to 23. The head multiplier is going to get increased from 1.35 to 1.56, which means the headshot multiplier is going to be pretty solid on the FARA. If you're able to land 1 or 2 headshots, you're going to be able to maintain a really good TTK. The neck multiplier is going to be increased from 1 to 1.2. Also a pretty big buff, and the upper torso multiplier is also going to get increased as well. So they say the FARA 83 is forgiving in addition to sporting a relatively fast and consistent time to kill at both of its damage ranges, which we feel is exacerbated by how easy it is to control. We are shifting some of the FARA's power into locational multipliers and aligning its TTK values more closely with other weapons that require a similar level of skill. So they want to make the damage more similar to the Krig, but reward you if you're able to land chest, neck, and headshots, which I think is pretty easy on the FARA. They're not adjusting the recoil, so it's going to still be very accurate, and I could see that still being one of the top weapons. Now for the Krig, they're finally increasing the recoil. No idea why they decided to buff the recoil in the last update, but they're actually going to increase it now, which is great news. And the neck multiplier is also getting decreased, which really is the only way the Krig stands competitive in the current meta. So after this update, the Krig is no more. I honestly don't think it's worth using at all now, and especially after this update. They say the Krig 6 has dominated the scene for some time now and has continued to do so following our latest changes. We'd like to take a moment to dissect why the Krig has been so resilient. We believe there should be weapons for players of all skill levels. In that regard, the Krig 6 is intended to be the entry-level long-range rifle, which we believe it is. It definitely is. It's too easy to use. These types of weapons can become problematic when they are so easily controlled that their fastest theoretical TTK values can reliably become their realistic TTK values, which is rarely the case. If it were always like that, the AK and the XM4 would be the best weapons, bar none. Additionally, its generous neck multiplier created a scenario where its TTK can be reduced consistently and easily with a single bullet. We believe these changes will be more firmly in place with the Krig, where it belongs in the path of Warzone weapon mastery. A first or a second stepping stone, so easy to use but not super powerful. And then finally here at the bottom, we got the QBZ updates. They're going to increase the recoil, and recoil dampening has been enabled. We have a vision where we'd like this to be the easiest to control long-range weapon. We believe we're close, but not quite there yet. In the wake of these weapon changes, the long-range engagement space should be succeeded by the QBZ. We'll be monitoring this over the course of time, so they're going to adjust it as needed, but they want this to be the main ranged rifle, which is kind of interesting. Now we've also got changes to the SMGs, the OTS-9, my baby, my favorite SMG right now. They're increasing the recoil. That's unfortunate. Maximum damage decreased from 34 to 31. Minimum damage increased from 20 to 21. Headshot multiplier increased quite a bit, and the neck multiplier is decreased quite a bit. So headshots are still going to be really powerful with the OTS. Neck shots not so much, but its TTK still should be very good to the limbs, to the stomach, and then also to the torso as well. Here they say part of what made the OTS a powerhouse was how easily it could achieve its reduced time to kill speeds because its multipliers were insane. With their shared headshot and neck multiplier, headshots were nearly twice as easy to hit, making the OTS remarkably forgiving for a weapon with extraordinary TTK potential. These changes will require more precision to achieve its fastest TTKs. The OTS now will still be at the top of the mobility food chain and will remain hardly really bested in close quarters engagements given a few well-placed shots. So if you can hit headshots, it's still going to be great. Now for the Tech 9, the maximum damage is getting decreased by 2. The minimum damage is as well, and the neck multiplier is getting increased. The Tech 9, like many other weapons, has its specific multipliers basically, which is an issue that tends to put its balance in a precarious spot. This could often lead to a time to kill dichotomy, where the weapon would either be too fast to kill or largely inviable, either awful or great, right? So sort of the opposite ends of the spectrum, sort of. This is not a particularly interesting design for Warzone weapons, so we don't feel that's adequate. We found a 540 millisecond TTK a bit fast for no more than torso shots, especially given its rate of fire, so it's not going to be as good at the chest and whatnot, and hopefully that TTK will be a bit more flattened out. For LMGs, on the Stoner, the recoil is going to be adjusted, the gun kick's going to be adjusted, and the raise interrupt time was increased from 0.8 to 1 second. So the Stoner has many desirable traits. Its recoil, gun kick, and handling were more than what we thought should be a thing for a 5.56 rifle instead of an LMG. So basically it felt too much like a rifle. These added downsides will have players thinking twice about bringing an LMG to an AR fight. So they don't want the Stoner being used as an aggressive weapon, basically. Then for TAC Rifle Charlie, the AUG, they decreased the recoil even more. An overarching goal for us is to bring all weapons to viability. While burst weapons may not be for everyone, we feel it's important that they support and have a wide variety of playstyles and skill levels across Warzone. With this reduction to recoil and a slight boost to the fire rate on its barrels, we feel this burst weapon will once again be viable. So they want the AUG back in the conversation as well, which is pretty interesting. Then the final preview we get is for the barrels for TAC rifles. On the AUG, the rapid fire barrel is increasing its fire rate, and the titanium barrel also has its fire rate increased. And on the M16, same deal as well. So copy and paste there with the rapid fire and the titanium barrels. Basically, what I'm getting from this is that the Krig is going to be just a garbage tier weapon now. It's not going to be worth using. The QBZ is going to be more geared towards those low damage, easy to use fights and players who want something that's just like sort of a point and shoot style weapon. The FARA is going to be really good if you can land chest, neck, and headshots. The OTS is going to be still really good for close range fights, but you got to be very accurate with it. And that leaves things like the PPSH, the Bullfrog, and the MAC-10 to sort of regain their spots as some of the top weapons in the game. And potentially the AUG could be back in the meta conversation. I don't think the M16 will, but the AUG could actually be a tad bit better now. So definitely some very interesting weapon tuning in this update. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know by dropping a like on it. It would be seriously appreciated. And of course, if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, feel free to do so. That way you can always stay up to date with absolutely everything going on in the world of COD. But with all that being said, that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. And I will catch you guys later. Peace out.